We're back. We're back at the Wenatchee Valley Tech Center with Kitus Cooks in the kitchen. I'd like to say my kitchen, but it's not technically my kitchen. My taxes pay for it, which is good. All right, today we've been working on our Asian cuisine, and we've kind of gone all over Asia. Remember, Asia's a huge continent, largest continent in the world. 48 countries in the continent, and so that means there's lots of varied cuisine, correct? So we're trying to hit different areas, and today we're hitting India, and we're doing what we call a green lentil dal. Dal, which means beans, and green lentils are beans. So that's what we're going to make today, and we're going to combine it with we made some naan the other day, and so I have some of the dough ready to go. Yesterday in class we made some paneer, which is a cheese, and I've got that right here. Remember, we put some weight on it to force all of that the liquid out of it, and look at that. Look at that. It looks a lot like if you, I know here in Wenatchee we have a lot of Mexican-style restaurants, and they use a lot of what they call cotija cheese, and that's what this looks a lot like. This has a little bit, because we use a little bit of lemon in it, has a tiny bit of a lemon flavor to it. It's so good. It's such a good cheese. And we're going to use this just at the end today to sprinkle on top of our green lentil dal. But we're going to get started. And what I love about the Indian cooking is the fragrance that comes when you cook. A lot of times it's just when you're starting. Like, we're going to use a little bit of yesterday we made the ghee, which is butter. That's that we cook down. We cook until it gets really clear. We cook out all of the solids, the proteins, and we end up with a clear. And it doesn't look clear now, but once we put it in a pan, you're going to see right there. There's a pan with some garlic and some of that ghee. And what we do, we got it we got it cooked so the particles in the butter kind of brown, so it gives it a really nice aroma, flavor once we finally end up cooking with it. So it's got kind of a nutty flavor. So we're going to put a little bit of that butter in there. The cool thing about it is once we cook out all these proteins, it has a higher burn temperature, and so we can cook it at a higher temperature than we can regular butter. So we're going to start with putting some of our seasonings in there, and we start with some mustard seeds. So we have a big jar of mustard seeds, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons in there. And what's going to happen now is those are going to kind of start popping, almost as if they're popcorn, but also they're going to release their flavor, and they get toasted in there, and so you get a lot of good things happening all at once while it's behind me there. Okay, so we started with our mustard seeds. We're going to do some turmeric, and turmeric is going to... Oh, okay. Oh yeah, thanks. I always forget to do this part. So, the volume. Oh, on this one I can't. We should be able to get it from... now, turmeric, you see, is a very, really yellow color, and it's going to add a lot of color to this dish, which is really cool. We're going to put in some of our cumin. You could use cumin seeds, but then you have to crush them up, and we're just going to use some dry cumin. Oh, you hear that? You can hear that. It's starting to pop, and that's the sound we want. Oh, those things are hopping around in there. Nice. So we're getting to a really good spot with this. I'm going to turn that temperature down a bit. All right, so we've got our cumin in there now, and we're going to put in a little bit of some green chili paste, which we have here, and this will give it some fire. It'll give it a little flavor to it. And so you're going to be careful. You don't want to put too much in. It might end up being a little too spicy for you. So we'll put in about a tablespoon. I think that should do it. Okay, and let's see what else we can find to put in this. Okay, some bay leaves. So we have bay leaves. These little leaves right there, those are going to go in there. Did I make that second one in? Yeah, I did. All right, see how that turned yellow? That's the turmeric right there, giving it all kinds of color. Now you can't, we didn't splurge for the smell-o-vision. You can't smell it at home, but here it's got a really nice, everything's starting to toast up and smell good. All right, I'm turning it down. It's the flavors are there. Everything's ready to finish up now. So we're gonna add some ginger. And so I don't know if any of you remember this, but a number of months ago we did a class about vacuum sealing things. We vacuum sealed a whole bunch of ginger, and I opened this up yesterday, and ginger's still really good. I think it was on November 20th because we marked the date on it. So it was November 20th. We did a class where we vacuum sealed things to see how long they'd last. This ginger lasted. Okay, and in the recipe, this recipe called for 2 inches of ginger. So what that means is ginger comes in these kind of long pieces, and so that's you just want to get around 2 inches. All right, so I dice it up. Got a nice dice that's going in with our mixture. We're going to crush up some garlic and then dice it up. That will go in there too. And we also have some red onion. And you think, oh my goodness, these beans or whatever he's doing, it's going to take forever to cook because, you know, when you cook dry beans or dry lentils or anything like that, it takes a while. But I don't know if any of you remember yesterday, what we did was we pre-soaked the lentils. So that's going to make it, they're going to cook so quickly. In fact, we should hopefully be able to taste this dish while we're still in class. Cross our fingers. All right? Maybe I'm being a little too hopeful, but all right, I'll move that over like that. So we got everything in there now, okay? We got all the seasoning. If we want later on, if we think we want a little more spicy, we can add some red chili flakes or something to it, but we're not going to do that right now. Okay, we let those, gonna let that onion cook a tiny bit with that garlic and our ginger, and now look at that. Those are our lentil beans. So remember yesterday we put them in there. They were really hard, and they were, now you can actually eat them now that we soaked them. They're really soft, and so that means they're going to cook so quickly, and that's exactly what we want. We want them to cook really fast. We don't want to cook them too long because we want them to retain their shape, and that's a big part of this dish is just that look of it, okay? So we're going to do about, let's say about 4 cups of these lentil beans in there, all right? Oh, that's probably pretty close to 4 cups. That was kind of heavy. Make sure when you're doing something like this that you are able to lift things and move them around without having to use that power move I just did. Okay, I'm going to add some coconut milk to this, and look, I opened it up ahead of time, which I usually am not that clever. Usually I have to open it in front of you. And then we're going to add some water. We're going to add about a cup of water, or we'll just do 1 can of water, okay? I'm going to turn that flame up. That thing's going to come to a boil, and it's going to cook so quickly. And I'm going to add right now a little bit of salt. That's about a tablespoon of salt and a little bit of pepper, maybe about a teaspoon of pepper. Okay, bringing that to a boil. So while that's coming, so here I have some of that ghee, which is that butter. And when we do it, we call it clarified butter, but when you're doing the Indian cooking, it's the ghee, and it has a little more of the flavor because it's got like a really nutty flavor. So we're going to use this we're going to make we have some of our naan bread ready to go. So we've got some of the dough. I'm just going to knead it out, pull it out a bit. I'll roll some out here on the counter. Check on my lentils. I want them to cook faster now. I want everything to happen now. Okay, I brought some, I think I have, oh yeah, there it is. A little bit of flour that we're going to sprinkle on the counter here. Right there, not too much. Don't overdo it, all right? Please don't overdo it. And then we're just gonna roll that naan bread out. I made some naan bread at home the other night, and my daughter was so excited. She loves naan bread. She said, Dad, you made it fresh? You didn't have to go to the store and buy it? And I said, nope, that's what I do. I'm a chef. Okay, so there we got it rolled out, nice and stretchy still. I got my pan that's gonna be warmed, ready to go. Okay, so we're gonna get all this together. Those lentils are starting to boil. Yum, this is gonna come together quickly, I promise you. Okay, so I'll put a little bit of the ghee on there, and that has some garlic in it, so it's gonna have a garlicky flavor, okay? So we're making a garlic naan. And we'll brush, probably at the end, we'll brush a little bit of the butter on there also, okay? So let's see if it's hot enough. We're gonna watch that and hope that it starts to rise up. Sounds like a Rage Against the Machine song. Rise up. Okay, here, look at those bubbles coming. Look. Oh, that's working nicely. Okay. Come on, heat up faster over here. You know what they say, watch pot never boils. Is that the one? I'm looking for my spoons. I did bring spoons. Up there, right there. I'm going to taste it for seasonings. Go in. Taste. Oh, that's good. Yum. All right, look at that naan. It's coming along quite nicely. It's ready to go. I'm going to, hey, Alexa, can you have me that cornstarch that's right up on the top shelf? That one, yeah. Last thing we're going to do, oh, it's spicy too. Oh, thank you, sir. We're going to add a little cornstarch to the lentil bean mixture just to thicken it up so we can serve it really right now. Look at that. That naan bread turned out delicious. Okay, so here we go. We're going to make our slurry, which is the cornstarch. Put the cornstarch in the pan first, and then we add water to it, correct? Everybody knows that? Because if we do it the other way around, the cornstarch will clump up. I don't know if the scientists have been able to come up with a cure for that. Those scientists. We were just talking about scientists this morning, Eric and I. They've changed the temperature on some of the health department regulations, and we thought, did the science change, or was it always like that and they just figured it out? Oh, those scientists. I have a father and sister who are scientists, so I can condemn them. Okay, so now look at that. It's nice and thick. Those lentils have cooked enough because we soaked them overnight. They're ready to go. I'm going to pull one out again. Let's see if I can get something out. I get a little bit of everything. It's going to be hot. Don't burn yourself, chef. Yum. Yum. We're in. Okay. We made it. So I'm going to turn that down. Last thing I'm going to add, you don't have to add this, but you can. You can add different things. You can add some potatoes to this. Give it a nice little crunch also. I'm going to throw in some spinach right at the end. We just want to kind of wilt it. We don't want to cook it for a long time where it turns into like that kind of off weird color that canned spinach has. And it's embarrassing that I even know what canned spinach looks like. But it was a staple when I was in college, believe it or not. I wasn't always a chef. Okay, so I turn off the fire. The spinach is gonna kind of wilt into it. Let's see, I'm gonna do a plate of this dish. So you could do, if you did some rice, you could do some rice to add with this dish, but we're gonna do a bowl. Yes, you have a question for me, Elgin? You're just watching, huh? Watching the magic? Okay, so we're gonna put some in our bowl. Look at that spinach, gives it such a beautiful color. That looks so delicious. Now we're gonna take some of our paneer from yesterday, which is our cheese, And it's going to crumble really nicely, just a little bit across the top. Nice, right? You could chop it up if you wanted to, or just do like I did. We're going to put some of this naan bread with it. Maybe we'll do the naan bread. What we'll do is we'll brush a little more of this garlic butter on there, because you know what they say about butter, it's good for you. It causes no health implications. It's so good for you, okay? And then send it out to a customer, so you want to cut it into smaller pieces so they can eat it, and there's always going to be somebody that wants to try it, and they're going to be a little agitated, but you say, okay, you can try it. All right, and then we're going to add, we made last week in class, some mango chutney, and we made some raita, which is a cucumber, a nice little fresh cucumber dip. So we'll just put a little bit on the side over here, and we'll do a little bit of our mango chutney right there, and we're ready to go, and we're ready to serve it. And so when they get it to their table, they're just going to start eating it. And the way I like to do is, I love that chutney so much. That chutney is like jam, and you just put it on your bread and you eat it. Because that's kind of what happens when you, oh, that's so good. Darn it, man. Who made the chutney? Oh, yeah, here last week. And you guys both made it, didn't you? Yeah, you guys made it. Yummy. It's so good. With a little bit of that yogurt. Oh, my goodness. I'm in heaven. It's 9 in the morning. I'm ready to eat some Indian food. So that's going to do it for today. So remember, get in the kitchen. That's the most important thing. Sharpen your knives. Keep them really sharp. Keep sending me letters, emails, texts. I had an emoji text yesterday. It just had a guy whose head was exploding. So I don't not quite know what that meant, but it's all a text, right? And then and keep on cooking, because cooking is where it all happens. It's what makes me happy. It what makes all my friends happy, because they know when they come over I'm going to cook for them, and it makes my family happy. Now if I could only get them to also do the dishes. Keep on cooking and keep on doing the dishes.